Good morning, 5th grade. Today we're going to continue reading Esperanza chapter 11. Before we begin, we want you to complete this quick write. It says, how have you changed since you were in 4th grade? Why did you change? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the focus question. It says, how has Esperanza changed since the beginning of the text? How do her feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts reveal about her as a person? So we're going to look at the notes we took last week and think about how she is a different person since the beginning of the text. Our vocabulary words for today are prune. That is when you trim a tree or a vine by cutting off the dead parts. So that's this picture. The second one is vapors. That's when it's like really cold outside and you can see your breath. Your breath is like vapor. And number 3, self-conscious. That is when you are really aware of your appearance. You are like worried about what other people are going to think about you. So that's this person. All right, open up your book to chapter 11, and we're going to use our CSPS strategy as we're reading the first time. The title of the chapter is Avocados. Esperanza's breath made smoky vapors in front of her face as she waited for the truck to take her to tie grapevines. She shifted from foot to foot, and clapped her gloved hands together and wondered what was so new about the new year. It already seemed old with the same routines. She worked during the week. She helped Hortensia cook dinner in late afternoons. In the evening, she helped Josefina with the babies and Isabel with her homework. She went to see Mama on Saturdays and Sundays. So we'll stop right here. We can fill in our information about our character. Esperanza is in a routine of working. She works during the week. She helps Hortensia and Josefina, and then on the weekends she goes to visit her mom. And then you can use these sentences for your quote. Press pause to write down your answer for box 1 and play when you're ready for the setting. Next paragraph. She huddled in the field near the smudge pot to keep warm and mentally counted the money she would bring to Abuelita here. She needed to bring Abuelita here. Every other week, with the small amounts she saved, she bought a money order from the market and put it in her valise. She figured that if she kept working until Peaches, she would have enough for Abuelita's travel. Her problem then would be how to reach Abuelita. The men went down the rows first, pruning the thick grapevines and leaving a few long branches or canes on each trunk. She followed along with others and tied the canes to the taut wire that was stretched post to post. She ached from the cold and had to keep moving all day long to stay warm. That night, as she soaked her hands in warm water, she realized she no longer recognized them as her own. Cut and scarred, swollen and stiff, they looked like the hands of a very old man. We'll stop right there. We're thinking about this setting. Oh, I just realized this had feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts. It'll be changed on your sheet. Okay. So when we're thinking about the setting, we know that Esperanza is working in the fields. Says the men went down the rows pruning. Pruning the thick grapevines, and she followed along to tie the canes onto the wire. So we know she's in the field. And then that night, she's soaking her hands in warm water, we know that she is back at her cabin. So this takes place out in the fields while she's working and in the cabin at night. Press pause to write down your answer for box 2 and listen for the problem. Okay. And so at this point, Esperanza is looking at her hands, and she no longer recognizes them because they're scarred, swollen, and stiff like the hands of an old man. "Are you sure this will work?" asked Esperanza as she watched Hortensia cut a ripe avocado in half. "Of course," said Hortensia, removing the big pit and leaving a hole in the heart of the fruit. She scooped out the pulp, mashed it on a plate, and added some glycerin. "You have seen me make this for your mother many times. We are lucky to have avocados this time of year. Some friends of Josefina brought them from Los Angeles." Hortensia rubbed the avocado mixture into Esperanza's hands. "You must keep it on for 20 minutes so your hands will soak up the oils." Esperanza looked at her hands covered in the greasy green lotion and remembered when Mama used to sit like this after a long day of gardening or after horseback rides with Papa through the dry mesquite grasslands. When she was a little girl, she had laughed at Mama's hands covered in what looked like guacamole, but she had loved for her to rinse them because afterward Esperanza would take Mama's hands and put the palms of her own face so she could feel their suppleness and breathe in the fresh smell. Esperanza was surprised at the simple things she missed about Mama. She missed her way of walking into a room, graceful and regal. She missed watching her hands crocheting, her fingers moving nimbly. And most of all, she longed for the sound of Mama's strong and assured laughter. She put her hands under the faucet, rinsed off the avocado, and patted them dry. They felt better, but still looked red and weathered. She took another avocado, cut it in half, swung the knife into the pit, and pulled it from the flesh. She repeated Hortensia's recipe, and as she sat for the second time, with her hands smothered, she realized that it wouldn't matter how much avocado and glycerin she put on them. They would never look like the hands of a wealthy woman from El Rancho de las Rosas, because these were the hands of a poor campesina. All right, so as we look back in this section, we want to think about what Esperanza's problem is. And we know that, she is focused on how much her hands have changed. And she doesn't like that her hands are, cut, swollen, scarred, and stiff. She says her hands look like the hands of an old man. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the solution. So she puts this avocado and glycerin mixture on them to try to make it soft, and she actually ends up doing it twice down here. And as she's doing it, it makes her remember Mama. But we know that she puts the avocado and glycerin mixture on her hands twice, but the last thing she says is that it doesn't really matter because she will never look wealthy. They'll always be, her hands will always look like someone from the working class, a poor campesina. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the paragraph. Oh, we're going to use that in our, the paragraph is on the next page, and it answers our focus question. How has Esperanza changed since the beginning of the text? What do her feelings, actions, sayings, and thoughts reveal about her as a person?